I don't know about you, but I have a real distaste or fear, maybe, of starting on a blank canvas, blank, crisp, white canvas. Now, some of you may be like, oh, that's a dream come true. But for those of you who are like me, who hate starting on anything completely white, it just is paralyzing at times. I have some tips for you today. Super easy ways to get started. We're not going to be working on a canvas. We're just going to be working on a blank white piece of paper in an art journal or, whatever you have. So it's going to be very simple: squares, circles, and stripes. The whole point is just get something down on paper, and it takes away the fear of the white page. Then you can have something to respond to, or you can just create something like completely different on top of it, but you have those colors and that texture from the paint kind of coming through. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Super easy way to get started. Okay, for this first one, I am going to just do squares, but I'm going to tell you the paint I'm using. Please use whatever you have. I am actually using Liquitex heavy body paint, titanium white, Payne's gray, raw umber, cobalt teal, chromium oxide green, red oxide, and yellow oxide. I do like kind of those more muted colors, but honestly, anything will work because this is just for a background. This is just to get us over the white, so we can have something to respond to and something to work from. So I think I'm just going to jump right in with the green, and I'm just going to be in this one making, maybe I said squares, but maybe rectangles. Like this is already starting to be a rectangle. Maybe more of a square rectangle. And then I'm just going to grab paint as I go and try not to think too much about it, although there I'm pausing and thinking about it. But it's more about getting some kind of paint on the page so that when I come back to actually work on it, I'll have something to respond to. And let's grab some blue, and maybe we'll make a long. And my paint is mixing. I mean, if you're particular and you don't want it mixed, definitely you can wipe your brush off after each color or use separate brushes for each one. I kind of like the paint mixing. I like the effect and the look of that, but totally get it if that's not your vibe. So, and if you're worried about getting it onto the pages of your other art journal pages, you can put plastic, plastic, like, okay, why am I blanking? Like wax paper or just a sheet of even this palette paper or something in between to kind of block that. So this is, let's see, let's add a little brown in there. Okay, so I'm trying to vary the shapes, although I'm with maybe limited success. So let's go back to the white. Let's do that color right here, which turns into a kind of a gray. And you see how fast this is. So let's do a red, the red oxide. So, all right, it's just that fast. And honestly, my next instinct would be is I want to take a pencil and just make marks in it, but that is not for today. Today, what we're doing is just putting paint down so that when we come back, this is something to respond to, something to a place to begin. Okay, so we've done squares and rectangles, and now in this one we're going to do circles, and I'm using the same color palette, and so we'll just begin making circles on our paper. Okay, can you make a circle and can you make a square? Because if you can, that's a great place to begin. And from there you can do all kinds of stuff, because as you can see, just by putting a little bit of paint down on the paper page, all of a sudden it kind of transforms it, and it's turning into something, obviously not a piece of art necessarily, but it is it's changing the way we're even looking and responding to this paper. So now this you could fill with well, I will just try to fill it as full as I can with circles, many big circles, little circles.
And once again, I probably wouldn't have put two colors of the same, and I would probably try to go off the edge a little bit here if I can, and try not to, try to put some variety into what you're painting. I don't, so once again, you're just having fun. You're just responding to the paints that you have and making different colors from out of a simple shape that anybody can make. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this white, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of the blanks, even though a little white is fine. But I'm just going to say, you know what? When I come back, I don't want to have any white areas, because I think it's kind of fun to start from a completely covered page, and then I'm responding to that. Now, if I wanted to, because then you want to make your circles different, or you want to add something in, you can do this. You can add as many shapes. You can go over them. It's never ending. So yeah, once you get them down, and it is kind of getting muddy, but I'm okay, because this isn't the end product. This isn't where I'm stopping. So just have fun with it, make your circles, and then know that then you can come back and you can see this and respond and put something over the top of it. For this last one, I'm using watercolor paper, and I'm using the same color palette, and I'm going to do lines, which actually, are stripes. So I'm just going to jump in. Haven't cleaned my brush, and it's just another way. This is just to get past the um, fear of creating, fear of starting, because everybody can make a line. I'm not even making a straight line. I'm just, using the width of the paintbrush. I'm mixing in the paint. It doesn't really matter. And if you want a straight line, you could use a straight edge or a ruler or something to get a straight line. I kind of like having it, I guess, a little less straight, so we're a little more wonky. I feel like it's not quite so precise, but, well, of course it's not precise. It's not precise at all, but I like that. I like that look. So, okay. And you could do it with different brushes so you get different widths. That would be kind of cool. In fact, I could make this one a little bit wider if I wanted. That's kind of a great idea. Let's go with the red. And from this, you can kind of get a sense of what colors you like next to each other. A lot of times light next to dark is good because of the contrast, and it makes it interesting. I'm going to do the whole rest of this in this lighter color. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of blue in it, which I guess ended up being a lot of blue, and see what we come up with, which is kind of a muted color, kind of pukey looking. Okay, and it's just that fast. And like I said, with the last one, it makes me want to, and you could turn it, we could have turned it and done it this way, but it does make me want to take my pencil and, make marks in it. So you could just continue with this wet on wet, but the idea is to put something down to get started to overcome the white page. So I hope these have given you some tips for how to start, and then and next time I will show you kind of what I did, I will continue working with these, and we'll see what develops.